Okay, we're recording now. All right, well, welcome back, unfortunately, to online instead of in-person instruction. Uh, but hopefully, eventually, we'll be able to get back to face-to-face. But if you are joining us, then that means that I hope you're expecting to see that you are in the CSE 204 Introduction to Database Systems course. So let me go ahead and um, share the slide screen that I would normally be standing in front of. Um, that I would normally be standing in front of instead of here next to on a screen. But yet, here we go. All right. So this is a second year course that is going to introduce you to a database model, a database concept. So you should hopefully have access to, if you're on this call, then you definitely have access to the files for this course. The slides for this that I'll go over today, that will be both the syllabus slides as well as the first round of introduction slides. They are available in that folder. I will do everything I can to remember to upload the slides for a class. I'll try to upload them a week in advance at the very latest, so that you can have access to them, so that you can kind of review them and get some understanding before the lecture time, if you feel that you would need that. Okay. All right. So, like I said, this is our introduction to database systems, and we are going to be meeting on Mondays. Now, there is a room that has been given. My guess is that if we do end up being able to go back to face, then that is the room that we will be in. That's in the engineering faculty building. For now, we're meeting on Microsoft Teams, as those of you who are here live on this call know. So we are going to be meeting Mondays at 1:30 for 2 hours, and then Tuesday morning very early at 8:30. I unfortunately do not control these things. I would not have put these two lectures that close together, but there you go. So Tuesdays at 8:30. That's scheduled to be another 2 hour period as well. Okay. I assume, based on my experience from online learning from the past 2 semesters, that neither of those lecture times will actually go the full 2 hours, because there's just, these things go faster online for some reason. Okay. If you want to contact me, there's my information. If you want to come see me in person, I will have times that once I decide on some office hours, I will plan to be in the office. If you want to come and meet with me personally, things, I will be there at times. Otherwise, probably the best way to get in touch with me would be through email. And again, I'll talk about a format for that I would like to have, just like I did last semester, just like I did for those of you who've had me in courses previously. Okay. Basically, the course, the objective of what we're trying to do here is, I just want you guys to understand what a DBMS, and especially an RDBMS, you'll know that those terms mean the database management system and the relational database management system. But deeper than that is not just understanding the database management systems themselves, but understand how to go about not only creating a database through the process of development, such as using an ER model, an entity relationship model when you get there, but also how to normalize a database. So one of the big things that the database technology, the reason why it's so important and so useful, is that it's a real big step up from what was used not very long ago, when people would use a lot of file-based structures, like a lot of text documents. For those of you who have taken the 101 and 102 courses, and have maybe done some programming in other languages as well, you know how to read and write files. using code. But you know, basically what we're going to learn is there was a big drawback to any type of file-based system, in that how do we change things, right? So how do we change data that is contained within a file programmatically? Like, obviously we could open up the file and we can change it ourselves using, you know, mouse clicks and the keyboard, but how do we do it using a program? Okay, and we'll see how to do that through obtaining and altering data through SQL statements. Okay, you'll know a lot about SQL. We're going to spend a lot of time on SQL or SQL. Some of you may have heard it referred to as SQL before. So yeah, we'll spend a lot of time there. All right. All right. The textbook that I'll be working from is this one here. It's a little bit older of a textbook, being 7 years ago that it was published. But we're really just trying to lay down the foundation of what a good database system looks like, and how to design and develop a good database. All right. This this text is available digitally. You don't have to purchase a text copy. But I know some people work better with text copy. But really, the truth is, I'm not requiring you to purchase this textbook, because you pretty much will be able to learn on your own, or using the slides that I'll provide you, attending the lecture, doing the assignments, and just practicing. Just practice what you learn in the lecture and through the slides. All right. Speaking of the slides, so this needs to change. I need to edit that. Okay, so speaking of the slides will be available through this course Microsoft Teams site. Let me show you my screen for this, because I want you to see what I see, and I'm assuming that you will also see the same thing. That's what I'm assuming. So when I pull up my Microsoft Teams, if I go over to General, right, you guys should know all this. This is where I'm going to keep everything, is up in the Files section. Okay, and under here, under Class Materials, all right, so I'll have documents. This will be anything like special, like if I find a journal article or a conference article or some other type of document thing that I would like you to read, that I found interesting, that I think you would find interesting, I'll put it there. Then lecture slides will be in here. If you open this up, we'll see that here's the 2 sets of slides that I plan to go over today. And then this is a PDF of the syllabus itself. So these slides are just kind of an overview of the syllabus. If you want to read that and maybe print it out if you want to, or keep it as a handy resource, have a handy reference guide for this. Okay. How do I stop? Trying to stop sharing my screen. There we go. Okay. So let's go back to the slide, not that. Let's go back to the slide there. Okay. So I'll edit that if somebody can remind me to edit that at some point. If I don't, because I do forget things, just ask my wife. There are other ways that you can gain access to those documents. That's not the only. I just figured that's the easiest way for you guys to access it directly through the Teams program. You can also get to it through the SharePoint online, and then there's other ways to get through those files. But all of the lecture slides will be in there, special documents, and if I have anything else that I need to share with you this way, I'll upload it through there. Okay, so make sure that you check that location frequently for updates. Make sure that you check the Teams here and the channels here for announcements that I might make. I'll use this Teams program to make announcements. You know, if I extend a deadline for an assignment, or if I make a clarification about a question on an assignment, that's where I'm going to make that announcement. So I'm very much in favor of treating all of you like the adults that you are. So I assume that it will be your responsibility to make sure that you keep up with anything like when a deadline is for an assignment, or having access to the lecture slides and stuff like that. So if I make an announcement and you didn't check it, and then later you come to me and say, "Oh, I didn't know that this was how I didn't know about this as this assignment, or I didn't know about this or that." I'm going to say it was announced. It was put on the team site. So, all right. So it's your responsibility, guys. So let's go ahead and keep up with the course. All right. What you can expect from the grading for this course will be that I'll give assignments and I'll give quizzes in lecture. If there is we'll get into this excused absence here in a moment. All right. There will be a midterm exam. I plan to do a project and a presentation that will also be 20%. This course has not been this large before. There's over 100 students in this course, which would make for that project and presentation, the way that I would normally do that, it would take a long time to get through all the presentations. So we might have to tweak that a little bit, but I'm going to see how that's going to work out. But I still plan to have some type of project and presentation. Let's see. There's a question. Right, there's not an attendance grade in this course, Metahan, because this is a second year course. If you hopefully by now have understood the importance of coming to class and listening and being contributing to the classroom discussion and stuff like that, hopefully by now in your university career, you guys have gotten to that place that you understand that that's important without having to be given points to attend. Okay, so all right. So that's why there's no attendance grade. I generally don't do attendance grades for second year and up courses that I teach. All right. Speaking of that, there you go. There's the next slide. Attendance and class discussions, they're essential. Hopefully you guys have figured that out by now. If you miss a class, it is your responsibility to find out what was discussed. So again, Metahan, if I or anyone else who might be wondering this as well, is if I make a statement in the class, or I say something in the class, or I make an announcement in the class, and you miss it because you weren't there that day, it's not my responsibility to make sure that you find out that information. It's your responsibility. So if you miss a class, make sure you find out from the other students what was discussed, what examples were given, what clarifications were given, stuff like that. Okay, I am not by any means perfect, and I will try as much as I can to remember to make announcements in class, to also make them on Teams so that everyone has a chance to find out that information. But sometimes I'll think of something in the middle of class and I'll say it and I'll make an announcement concerning it, but I'll forget to make a specific post on Microsoft Teams about it. So therefore, I want to make sure that you guys understand, again, it's your responsibility to make sure you keep up with what is talked about in the class. All right. So just like this is a standard thing for me, homework and projects are due probably by midnight. I will probably make them due midnight on a certain day at some time. And if you are late, you will lose 10% for each day they're late, and I won't take anything after 2 days late. So if you, let's say it was due today, let's say the 1st of March, midnight, then I will expect that you will have that assignment in by midnight the 1st of March. And if you don't, if you have it in by 12:30, 30 minutes after midnight, that'll be counted as a day late, okay, which means you'll lose 10%. If you have it in Tuesday, 2nd of March, middle of the day, that's still only 1 day late. But if it's the next day, whatever that is, the 3rd of March, 12:30, that'll be counted as 2 days late. Okay. All right. So make sure that you do everything you can to get this stuff in on time. Another thing I want to point out here is also, as a result of you guys, this is an older group. You guys are second-year students now. I don't take attendance. It also means that I also expect a lot more from you guys in terms of getting things in on time. So what that means is that I would expect that you guys would think ahead and not try to submit something. If it's due at midnight, it's due at like 11:59 midnight. I would hope that you wouldn't try to click on the submit button at 11:58 and wait till the very end like that and risk that possibly the internet goes out, or maybe the internet's slow. I can tell you that I've had a number of students who have messaged me, said, "Oh, I tried to submit it at 11:58, but the internet was slow, and it ended up being submitted at 12:05, or stuff like that." Guys, don't wait till the last minute to get this stuff in. I would say start early on these assignments, start early on anything I give you to do. And this is just a good rule for life, is just to start early, so that if problems come up, which they always do, there's nothing ever works smoothly. If problems come up, you can address them early so that you can take care of them in a timely manner. Okay. A semester project, I want to give a semester project. There will be a semester project. Details of this project, I will talk to you guys in the 3rd week of class about this. Okay. But be thinking of, if you have an idea or a group that you want to work with that you already know, if you may already have that, go ahead and get that early, and then that way you can claim a topic early, so that you can get a topic that you want. Okay. Exams, there'll be no makeup for the midterm unless a medical excuse is provided. And then the final exam, there will be a comprehensive final exam that will cover the entirety of the course. Okay. And then, of course, there'll be the bitumen. I say there's no makeup for the midterm. I don't know if, based on the whole online thing, there might be a makeup. But basically, you have to have an excuse, a university-approved excuse for being able to take either the midterm or the final exam, the makeup version of that. Okay. All right. Academic integrity. So let's talk about cheating and copying and all that. So I do want to encourage you guys to discuss these course topics and assignments among yourselves. Make sure that you're the only place that you talk about programming or database or whatever is not just in this class. Okay, I do want you to talk about topics and to understand those things, and do searching, like go hang out on Stack Overflow and stuff like that, and learn new things, right? But what I don't want, and what is the line that we sometimes cross, is where we take someone else's work and we claim it as if it was our own. And that's something that we can't allow, and that's something that the university has a policy against. And that's not just our university, that's every academic place in the world, every academic institution, every university in the world has this philosophy that we only claim credit for the work that we actually did. So, and that isn't just not copying off of your friend. That could also be if you if you copied a solution off of some website, off of Stack Overflow or off of Reddit or wherever you might get those things from. Okay, I have had students who have copied a solution off of an internet website, and then submitted it as their own. And not only is that that copying a form of cheating, but it's more than that for me is the purpose of being an engineer. What our goal is that we want to be able to design and develop solutions to the world's problems. Okay, and that's not just database stuff. That's anything that we do, right? Like, we want to be able to creatively design and develop solutions to problems. And if we just copy somebody else's solution, then we've kind of lost that ability to design and develop the solutions ourselves, right? We're showing that we're not good engineers if we just go copy somebody else's solution of how to do something. We need to be able to think for ourselves, to be able to develop our own, possibly unique solutions to problems that face us. Okay, let's see, question. Will the quizzes be in certain periods? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I think it's rubbing up against something. Let me try this. Let me try taking the head. And I'll use the computer mic and see if that works. Does this work better, Rajat? Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so you asked about the quizzes. Will be certain periods. Okay, good. Okay, so my microphones, my headphones are not good. Good to know. So the quizzes, I will announce the quizzes, right? They won't be both Monday or Tuesday. I do want to kind of mix them up. Sometimes they'll be on a Tuesday. Sometimes they'll be on a Monday. I will announce what day they will be on. Like if I were giving a quiz, say tomorrow, which I'm not giving a quiz tomorrow, but if I were giving a quiz tomorrow, I would let you know in advance that I was giving a quiz on the 2nd of March. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Okay, so this is the tentative planned outline for the topics and how we're going to cover them. There is a possibility somewhere in here there may be some holidays we might have to deal with. I looked at the Turkish holidays, and they're actually, it's kind of interesting that we don't have any specific holidays falling on the days that we meet. But sometimes, especially around like Ramazan Bayram and stuff like that, they can give extra days. The government can give extra days off, and so I will follow that for sure. But for now, it looks like there's no planned break at this point. So what we'll do is we will cover through in this order. I can tell you from previous experience teaching this course that this SQL and advanced SQL weeks it would probably be better if I extended that to actually across 3 weeks instead, because it's such a large topic. Okay, so and it's very important. SQL is a very important topic for us as database programmers to understand. Okay, but this is the plan. I will definitely follow this order to be able to get us from point A to B, but yeah, there may be a little bit of change in how quickly we go through some of these topics. All right. If you need to contact me, please use my university email address. But I teach 4 courses, and I also have graduate students and undergraduate senior design project students that I'm overseeing all at the same time. You could email me. If you email me with no subject, or if you email me with, assignment 1 as a subject line or something like that, I'll have to take extra time to go figure out, for many of you, what class is this student talking about.
So what would really help me out and would help you get a quicker response is if you start the subject line with CSE 204 and then include some brief description of your comment, okay, or what you're emailing about. So, for example, if you want to email me about the group project and you do CSE 204 and then, hey, I'm talking to the group project, right? And then that would be your subject line, and then your email can be about that. Okay. I try very hard and will do everything within my power to respond within 24 hours. And as I always say, this is business day 24 hours. So if you were to email me right now, 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, I will 99% of the time I will get back to you by 2 o'clock on that following Tuesday. Okay. But if you email me on a Friday afternoon at 7 p.m., right, there's a chance I may not be able to get to it until Monday. I have 3 children who take up some of my time, and I like to spend time with them. And I have a wife. I like to spend time with her as well. And so this isn't the only thing that I'm going to be working on. This isn't the only thing that I'm going to be doing. So I would like for you to understand. And then therefore, if it's about an assignment, for example, if you email me a question about an assignment the day that the assignment's due, you might not get an answer back from me in a timely manner, in time for you to be able to get the answer you need before the submission time. Okay. Try to make sure that your question, that we haven't already talked about it in some way in the course, whether through an announcement or a slide or something like that. And one thing that I've wanted to try to do, and some of you who have had my 101 course and 102 course, I tried to do this and it didn't quite stick as much as I would have liked. But, I understand that for many of you, I think all of you, but many of you, English is not your first language. English is not your primary language that you speak on a regular basis. I cannot even imagine trying to learn some of this material if I were sitting in a classroom in Turkish. And I've worked hard to try to learn Turkish. But what I will say is try not to use a translation app like a Google Translate or something like that. It's not bad, it's okay, but what I would prefer you do is, and this would help me with my Turkish learning, is if you could take the time, like write out what you're wanting to say in English, and if you have the time, write it out in Turkish as well. Right? And then that way you can help me understand Turkish a little bit better. Okay? So I'll help you by answering your question. You can help me by learning more how the Turkish way of saying things would be better. Okay? I hope that would be a good deal we can make with each other. Okay? I can't promise that I can respond back in Turkish. Again, unfortunately, I would like to, but I can't promise that. But I would like to get there one day. So, all right. So you help me, I help you. All right. Also, if you have any concerns about grading, contact me within a reasonable amount of time. I've had students who, 3 weeks after the semester ended, and all of the grades have had to be like, there was a deadline and we had to submit them, and there was no chance to change them. I've had students email me, oh, I wanted to ask about why was my quiz grade from quiz 3 this score instead of this other score, and it's like, wait, I can't do anything about quiz 3 once all the grades are in, right? So make sure that if you have a concern about grading, that you contact me quickly. Okay. If you are asking to have a grade increase, make sure you have a valid reason why. For example, sometimes You might have a solution that really did work, but for whatever reason, I wasn't able to see. I can't see every way. This again, I want to remind you guys, engineers don't deal, we don't do questions and answers. We do solutions to problems. Okay. And there's a difference between those two things. A question has a one specific answer. A problem has many possible solutions. Okay. I mean, if we look at the world around us, take for example, politics. How do we govern people? Well, if you look at America, where I'm from, and you look at Turkey, and you look at the UK, and you look at Nigeria, and you look at Russia, and you look at China, and you look at all kinds of different countries all over the world. They clearly have many different ways to solve this question of how do we govern people, right? There's lots of different possible solutions. Now, that's not to say that all solutions are the same, right? Some solutions are better than others. In fact, even those things that I just listed, I'm sure that you probably would say that some of those solutions of how to govern people are better than others, and some are not as good as others, right? And we won't get into that discussion here, but there is a truth that some solutions work better, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's only one solution to a problem. Okay. All right. Now this won't necessarily come into play here. The grader didn't see a part of the solution on another page because most of what we're going to be doing, at least until we're back to face, is going to be online Google Form. Sorry, not Google. Microsoft Forms. Now, hopefully Microsoft Teams didn't hear me say Google. Ugh. Okay. So Microsoft Forms, those kinds of things. So it's not likely that I'll miss something that was on a different page, right? But it's possible. Note, I really want or need to pass this class. It will not be considered a valid reason for me to give you more points. Okay. If you see something where I may have not given enough points because I didn't see it clearly, or it works better than, if you can argue your point, okay, that will work out much better in your favor. Some of my students from years past will tell you that they've come to me and they've said, hey, this is what I was thinking. This is why I wrote this code this way, or this is why I wrote this solution this way. This is why I was thinking this. And I said, that's a good argument. I can agree with that. And I will then, in my feeling, will feel that they have earned those points that they're asking for. I've had other students that say, oh, please give me, 5 more points because I really need to pass this class. And that to me is just, it's not a valid enough reason. I take a lot of pride in the title of engineer. I think it is a very noble and good profession, but it also means that, but those who have earned the title of engineer, are those who have worked hard to achieve it. And so I want to make sure that all of you in this class have worked hard to achieve that title. Okay, so I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that only those people, only those men and women who have worked hard to earn the title of engineer will be given that title. Okay, all right. A couple things about the group project. If you already have a group of 4, and this is probably going to be a little bit bigger, I'm probably going to end up having to make this group of 5, or maybe probably, God, I cannot go higher than 5. We'll see. All right. If you have a group of 5 for sure, and you have an idea, I will listen. Actually, 5. Yeah, we can do groups of 5. Yeah. If you have a group of 5, and you have an idea of a project that you'd like to do, go ahead and have the group leader. You need to choose one. I don't want like 5 of you emailing me all at once. You need to go ahead and email me with the following. You need to name all your group members, and you must CC them in the email. So like here, I'm going to look at the last 5 people that have commented on the chat here. So what do we got? We got Recep, Gizem, Atakan, Suleiman, and Murat. So let's say those 5 are wanting to make a group. I'm not saying you guys have to, but let's say those are the 5 that want to make a group. And Murat's going to be the group leader, okay, because he's at the top. Murat, you would need to email me and make sure that you include in the CC and the carbon copy, the also receiving the email. You'd have to include Suleiman, Atakan, Gizem, and Recep in the email, because I don't want you telling me that Recep is in the group, and then Recep emails me later and says, "Oh no, I'm in this other group," right? Because that could be awkward for all of us, right? So you need to include all the group members, put all their names in the text of the email and what the idea is, and why. Why do you want to do this project? Something like that. Okay. Specific details about the group project I will give in later lectures, as the semester goes on a little bit. All right. A couple important, this is the standard slide that I give at the end of every syllabus discussion. Make sure you keep up with the course. All right. Don't try to think that you'll be able to, I don't think you can go out doing much of anything. You can't go out and eat at restaurants or anything right now. So it's not like you got it's not like any of us have a lot of social life going on, but don't think that you can go, spend all your days watching Marvel movies and Star Wars and YouTube videos. And then in, 5-6 weeks from now, just in time for the midterm, think that you're going to suddenly catch up by reading all the slides and watching all the course videos then. Okay. Keep up with it as it goes along so that you can make sure that you're understanding things and you're adding to your understanding incrementally. You're adding to your understanding bit by bit. When in doubt, make sure you ask questions, right? There's nothing wrong with not knowing something. Okay? There's lots of things I don't know. But what we need to be able to do is when we don't understand something or when we don't know something is that we can ask questions of those who can help us. Okay. And then attempting and failing is better than not attempting at all. As far as a course like this is concerned, partial credit is your friend. I can't give anything besides a 0-point grade to a blank answer. But if you write something, if you say, hey, I tried, right? I can at least give points to that, right? Possibly, right? So as far as the course is concerned, something is better than nothing on points, right? But more importantly, as far as being an engineer is concerned, engineers, we're not afraid of failing. Failing is good if we learn from it, right? We don't want to only succeed, only try things if we're going to succeed, right? Eventually we want to succeed, there's no doubt. But the way that we get to that success oftentimes is by failing along the way, learning from our failures, and taking what we learn and applying it. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, this is the last slide. Okay, last slide on the syllabus discussion. This week, you will want to install some tool for SQL or MySQL PHP. Some suggestions. So I've understood that this is pronounced SHAMP, and that's what I'm going to be using. I'm actually going to be using this version of WAMP. Actually, this is so SHAMP and WAMP and MAMP and LAMP are all kind of the same thing. They are an Apache MySQL PHP package all in one. It's a pretty simple tool to, you just basically download and install. It kind of sets everything up for you to be able to immediately be able to, you could write PHP, you could access a MySQL database, you could have an Apache server that will run as a local host web server. Okay, so if you want to use some of these other tools like Microsoft Access, I don't suggest Microsoft Access. I find it difficult to use, but it's a fine database. There's nothing wrong with it. It's for me, it's not user friendly. But if that's something that you've used before, or if it's something that you'd like to learn more about, go ahead and use it. There's nothing wrong with it. Finally, Oracle. I believe Oracle is not free. The rest of these tools, Microsoft Access, I don't think is free either. But you have it if you have Microsoft Office. But Oracle, it costs, but it's a very solid database. It's if you are if you're in a position where you have access to an Oracle database, feel free to use it. It'd be a great tool. But for most of you, I imagine in this class, for me, myself included, you're going to want to just download and install one of these AMP, Apache, MySQL, PHP packages and get those up and running. Okay. All right. Wow, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. So now we are here at, okay, it's 2:15. I would like to at least go ahead and start the introduction slides, but what we'll do is we can take a break. So let's go ahead and take a typical break like we will. So every week what we'll do is we'll go for 50 minutes and then we'll take a 10-minute break, okay? So what we'll do is we'll get back on at 2:25 and we will continue with the lecture 2 slides introduction, okay? All right, so I'll see you guys in 10 minutes.